Hey, and welcome to Intrepid. Now, in this episode, we'll be focusing on the power of circus on the brain. In this piece, I will focus on the circus component of juggling. Before I just get started, I want to remind everyone who is listening and watching that Intrepid is a fusion of circus therapy and mental wealth. Now, mental wealth meaning a holistic approach to mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Now, we want to integrate that into the body, which is the movement, emotions, which are feelings, the mind, which is thinking, and the spirit, intuition and gut feelings, to support clients in making powerful and lasting changes in their lives. This work draws on the fact that any dysfunction related to limiting beliefs, painful emotions, or physical ailments can be brought back into harmony with the whole. I have seen and felt the power of juggling in three ways in my life. The first way I felt the power of juggling was as a kid. I struggled to focus at school. By the time I got to high school, a friend of mine, he was just juggling and goofing around. And so I started juggling. I gave it a shot. I didn't really think anything would come of it. But I started practicing, 20 minutes here and there a day. And I still didn't think I would stick with it. I just didn't have the focus. Day after day, I focused. And at school, I kept practicing. But by the time I stopped, I had a basic pattern. I could do a basic 3 pattern. Now, I didn't lose focus for juggling. I just discovered my writing skills because I love to write poetry, and I had got into football. Now, juggling had taught me to focus enough to build up my skills in writing and football. So I poured all my time into those things from year 10 to year 12. What I didn't know back then was juggling and the world of circus wasn't finished with me yet. Now, the second powerful way juggling helped me was I knew I had a knack for coaching dance, tumbling, and circus. I would always add juggling into those skills at least once a week. Juggling seemed to bring athletes and artists together socially and mentally. As they struggled together, they really wanted to get the skill, but they also really encouraged each other. And the third way that juggling empowered me was I became a professional entertainer in 1989 after graduating from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City. While at school, I not only got 2 intense years to work on my acting, my dancing, my musical theater skills, I also worked on my juggling. All these skills, including the juggling, gave me the opportunity to work in theme parks, on cruise ships, and cabaret shows. And one of the biggest opportunities of my young life, I got to work with George Lucas, the creator of all those Star Wars movies. I got to work with him on one of his touring productions. The show was called George Lucas Super Live Adventure. And the show toured Japan for a whole year. It was one of those moments in a lifetime that I had dreamt about. And it was happening right then and there. So it was super exciting. In those early days, I did not understand that juggling would allow me to focus not just on juggling, but it taught me how to focus and refocus on things that I struggled with. Now, let's do a little research. Now, research has proven that learning a new skill like juggling adds benefits like relieving stress, sharpening concentration. It also increases dexterity, relieving food cravings for all of us that love to eat, even fighting off diseases like Alzheimer's. Now, the brain is made up of 2 main substances called white and gray matter. Okay, white matter are those nerve strands that help parts of the brain communicate with the other parts of the brain. The benefits of juggling has proven to boost connections in different parts of the brain. Now, there are several studies where people have had brain scans to see if their white nerve matter improved after juggling. An Oxford study in 2009 with 48 participants, 24 of those participants were asked to juggle 30 minutes a day. They compared white matter with those who did not juggle over the 6-week period. They found that those who juggled all grew new white matter in their brain. There was another interesting development in the study as well. Whether the participants became good at juggling or not, they still grew extra white matter in their brain, which suggests it's the processing of juggling or doing something new and challenging that improves the health of the brain. Because our brains only grow when it is puzzled or challenged, simply doing what we already know doesn't stimulate change in the brain at all. Okay, so juggling is pretty powerful. Even after the study, and many others like it, when participants stopped juggling, the white matter still grew, only slower. You know, after 35 years of educating and coaching, I know a lot. I don't know enough, though, to know everything. Even about the things I am super passionate about, there is still a lot of room to grow and be challenged so that white and gray matter in my brain continues to grow and teach me stuff. At Intrepid, we use the power of juggling, tumbling, partner acrobatics to help the young and the young at heart discover the truth about what they are really capable of. At the end of the day, Circus changed my life. It helped me to become mentally tough, helped me become a creative thinker, and brought out the leader in me that I didn't even know was locked inside. And it can do the same for you. Now, I use the art of circus not only to teach skills, to toughen up the mind, to build teamwork in participants. I also use it to teach the history and the origin, because you don't truly understand or connect with something unless you know its origin, its history, in other words, where it's come from. It's like learning about yourself or your family. We cannot truly heal, embrace, grow, or change if we do not know where we came from. Everything and everybody comes from someplace. The wealth and the humility of true knowledge and enlightenment is found in its history. Now, the history of circus is rich, so there is a wealth of knowledge and a humility there to be found and understood. To understand everything deeply, participants must get comfortable being uncomfortable. They must get comfortable making mistakes, taking risks, finding the love and the connection in every step of the Intrepid process. At the end of the day, we want our clients, young and old, to move, to feel, think deeply, and not only learn to stay open to academic learning, but to holistic learning as well. This is the power of juggling and circus on people's lives. As participants increase their numbers, connect to the history, learn the academic as well as the holistic way, they start to not only get better and connect to themselves, they start to connect and tap into their endless possibilities. And that is the power of circus.